I've been pretty busy getting ready for spring, so let me show you some of the things keeping me busy. First off, an update on the self-watering containers and clay pot Oyas. I figured out I can use a medium-sized safety pin to punch holes in the plastic containers. It's quick, and the holes are still the small size I wanted. It dramatically speeded things up. The clay pots are doing well, acting as containers for water, and the plastic containers have allowed me to saturate the soil quite nicely. I've even found a way to add water into them and figure out if the soil is saturated. I simply fill one of the orange juice containers and place it upside down into the container in the ground. If the ground is pretty saturated, water will drain out slowly. Watch a couple in action to see what I mean. When the soil was dry, the top bottle would empty pretty quickly. Now, it takes a little while. I fill a few of the juice bottles, set them in place, and then go and do something else. I even found a nice little water pitcher at Goodwill for $3 that I use to fill the clay pot Oyas. It's the perfect size to top off all the clay pot Oyas in one pitcher fill. I also got the second set of clay pots and filled out the second bed with Oyas and plastic containers. I'll add a few more plastic containers, but on the self-watering front, I'm pretty much done. Next, I learned you can eat the leaves from sweet potato vines by cooking them like spinach, and that they contain lots of vitamins and nutrients. So you can only imagine how I was kicking myself from last season as I watched the vines first appear, spread out, and then cover a string trellis I built to hold them. And then I simply let them die when I dug up the sweet potatoes. So, this season, I plan to be a lot more thoughtful. I bought a covered wire that will make the vine support a lot stronger. I also bought some eye screws to replace the rickety nails I used to put up the rickety string trellis from last season. All I needed to do was take down the old rickety setup to install them. I did it in sections to first remove the nails, then drill a pilot hole where the nails had been. I used a long Allen wrench I put through the eye to then screw in the eye screws. With all the screws in, I began the process of adding the wire string. With the string in, I came back and once again used the Allen wrench to tighten the wire to make a tight length that would hold lots of sweet potato vines for plenty of meals. Then, I previously raked up all the leaves in the front yard and put them in bags to use later. But I still had lots of leaves in the backyard. So, I invited some kids from the neighborhood to help me rake them into piles to store later. I paid them for all their hard work, and we got a chance to try out the barbecue grill I built. It was a fun afternoon and well worth it for the help. I overwintered a bell pepper plant and brought it out to begin the hardening process of it getting used to being outside again. And as long as I was at it, I figured I would cut off a few stems to root out for a jump start on the bell peppers. While I was at it, I wanted to beef up my blackberry bushes. So I cut off a few stems to root those out as well, to get more bushes. Here is one of the stems, and you can see the nodes that need to be in water to create the roots. It'll take about a month, but if these stems root out, I can get up to critical mass quickly and maybe end up with blackberries this season, since this will be my second year. And then on to seed starting. This spring I'm being strategic and trying to use as many plants that are native to Florida weather to get better results once the heat kicks in. Previously, I began the 2-cup method for Boxcar Willie tomatoes that are heavy producers that can also tolerate heat and humidity. Then I decided to use the same 2-cup method to start a few other plants like okra and cabbage. That decision has worked out well because I didn't have to worry about keeping the soil moist. Once the seeds broke ground, I did a time lapse to show the rapid progress. I was really pleased with the results and only had one failure, which was the Boxcar Willie tomato seeds, where none germinated. I've ordered more seeds from a different source and will update on a second round. Right after I was singing the praises of the 2-cup method for seed starting, I ran into a few videos on the snail method of wrapping dirt in a circle and rooting seeds, so I decided to try it. It basically involves putting soil on plastic or cardboard. I then sprayed the dirt to help it set as a growing medium. Then roll the dirt into a little wrap and use rubber bands to hold it in place. Some people like to use tape. I added additional dirt to bring it up evenly to the top. And since I like the double cup watering method, I put the roll in a container with water and rocks in the bottom. With that done, I added the recently arrived new Boxcar Willie seeds and created another roll with a cherry tomato variety. The advantage of the snail method is that when unrolled, you have easy access to seedlings for transplanting, and it takes up less room. I plan to test which method works best because I planted both types of seeds using the double cup and the snail method, so I can compare how well the plants respond. So you see, I really have been busy. See you next time.